are calling on the International Criminal Court to investigate possible crimes against humanity. But its chief prosecutor says Libya does not recognise the ICC's powers. The only way it can step in is if Libyan authorities accept the ICC's jurisdiction or if the UN Security Council refers the situation to the court. The United Nations Human Rights Council will hold a special session on Friday to discuss Libya, but already its draft resolution is being criticised for not going far enough. Kath Turner, AlJazeera at the United Nations, New York.
Let's go back now to the story of the possible extradition of Julian Assange from Britain to Sweden. Let's go back to Tim Friend, who joins us live from the court in London. Tim, you have some news for us.
Yes. Within the last few seconds, we now have a decision from the judge, and he has decided that Julian Assange must be extradited to Sweden. Julian Assange has 7 days to appeal. And I suspect that will be possibly a lengthy process because, of course, he has 2 further stages of British courts to go through or to appeal to before any final decision is reached here. And, of course, ultimately, if he is given permission, he can go to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. This is a devastating blow at this stage for him, although it's probably not the final decision about his fate, but for the moment he is facing extradition back to Stockholm to face those charges that he sexually assaulted 2 female supporters in Sweden, in Stockholm, last August. Charges that he denies and which he's always claimed were part of a political smear against WikiLeaks, and that he's concerned about the nature of the trial in Sweden as well, because rape charges there are heard partially in private, and the concern of him, Mr. Assange, and his lawyers is that the trial will not be totally fair and open.
OK, Tim, thanks a lot for that. Thanks for updating us on that. The extradition has been approved then, but still a long way to go if he appeals, Tim Friend, over there now. Now, we've got numerous lines continuing to come in from Libya, and let's take you through this one. Security forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi, we're hearing, have attacked anti-government militias controlling the town of Misrata and killed several people. This is according to Reuters. Sir, does that surprise you?
Not really, no. We are in a battle. There is, this is expected. This is expected. Gaddafi won't give up easily. He will fight, as he said, to the last moment of his life. So this is does not.
Okay, I'm also hearing that one of the closest aides of Muammar Gaddafi has defected to Egypt. What more do you know on that?
Well, I have heard that, but it's not confirmed yet. And if Mr. Gaddafi Dam, say Ahmed Gaddafi Dam, wants to announce that, he can come and announce that by himself.
If it's true, what does it mean? I mean, how important is he?
It is very, very important. He's the closest aide to Gaddafi. He's his right-hand man. He's doing all the dirty jobs for Gaddafi. He's the man who paid for all these mercenaries. He's the man who brought all the mercenaries here. Right. Lately, he was touring Africa and trying to buy the eastern tribes in Egypt, Lad Ali, and he offered them billions, as a matter of fact. And now, if this guy defected, this means a big blow-up.
And just a few minutes ago, we saw those pictures of the tribal leaders meeting in Beida.
Yes.
How significant was that? Who was meeting, and what were they saying?
Well, they expressed their support for the revolution. Everybody's now saying we all in the revolution. It means Gaddafi, you have no hope that you get any support from us, and that's it.
But his tribe wasn't there.
No, this is the eastern tribe.
Right.
The old.
But how much sway do they have in terms of the overall picture of the country?
Oh, they've got great power now. We are getting the old sort of system coming back in Libya, and where the tribal leaders have a say over their followers. So it is great significant when these leaders get together and whatever they decide, their voice is much heard now than before in Gaddafi's days.
Okay, once again, Awad Al-Faitouri, thank you very much for sitting in with us and trying to demystify and unpack the numerous bits of information that are coming through from Libya for the moment. We will no doubt hear from you a little bit later on. And those are those pictures from the tribal meeting there in Beida. So let's remind you of the stories making headlines. One of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's closest aides says he has defected to Cairo. Ahmed Qadaf al-Dam says his decision was in reaction to the regime's fierce crackdown on protesters. Witnesses say clashes are continuing in the town, which is around 120 kilometers east of the capital, Tripoli. Pro-Gaddafi forces have reportedly clashed with anti-government protesters in the coastal city of Misrata. Meanwhile, tribal leaders in Libya have been meeting in Beida in the country's east, and they're calling for an end to Gaddafi's 40-year rule. Anti-government protesters seized control of the city on Friday after they were joined by local police. Gaddafi is expected to make a public statement shortly, according to state television. While governments continue to evacuate their citizens from Libya amidst the growing unrest, European Union ministers are meeting in Brussels to discuss how to deal with an influx of immigrants from North Africa. Some of those fleeing the unrest have been arriving back in the Algerian capital, many told of the chaos they'd left behind.
There were bullets in the early evening everywhere. You could see it with your own eyes. If you go out, you would be killed. Even if you looked through the window, you'd be killed. We've hardly eaten anything over the last week. Thank God we made it back to Algeria. It's a blessing.
There were so many people, and I can't describe what it was like in Libya. So many foreigners were there, and suddenly everything came to an end. There was no one left there. We stayed alone, but we were so scared we had to stay in and not go out.
A British court gave the go-ahead for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to be extradited to Sweden, where he's accused of sex crimes. Lawyers for Assange, who has angered the US government by releasing thousands of secret US diplomatic cables on his website, had argued that he would not get a fair trial in Sweden. His legal team has argued that if he is sent to Sweden, he risks then being transported to the US, and if that happens, they say he could face torture or even execution. Police say 98 people are now known to have died in a powerful earthquake in New Zealand. Rescue teams are looking for as many as 300 people who are still missing. Water, electricity and sewage have been severed in parts of the city, and fuel is running short. Those are the headlines. Inside Stories up next. Stay with us.